You're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, 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 other than day one.
Donald Trump has successfully moved the Overton window in a way that is as dangerous for the future of democracy in this country as anything else.
This is what Vout and Project 2025 wanted.
He's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great.
They control the Congress, they control the White House, and they control the courts. And so, of course, they're massively, massively overreaching. And yes, they are getting away with it right now.
This is clearly a man who cannot tolerate criticism of him or what he does, which is exactly what authoritarianism is all about.
The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSDNC. They really are the enemy of the people.
What he is saying, rather bluntly, if you stand up to Donald Trump, he will punish you.
Protesters in Philadelphia, state capitals in California, Minnesota, Michigan, Texas, Wisconsin, Indiana, and others showed up to oppose Trump, Musk, and Project 2025.
The US and President Trump has overseen America's largest military parade in decades as nationwide protests take place against his leadership.
Demonstrations are happening right across the United States today to oppose the Trump administration.
Two visions of America. On a day the country's deepening divide was there for all the world to see.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jeff Waldorf, and you are watching Logically Left right here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Yes, that's where I'm at. Look, we got a couple of fun stories here today, including a Republican who is claiming that he speaks to dead people, but not just dead people, but dead voters who cast a ballot. You see where we're going on this one, okay? That's an insane story. From insane people, we got the Cracker Barrel crack up. Here we go. Yes, another right-wing culture war meltdown, this time over a logo. Yeah. I mean, how incredibly on brand is all of this? Extremely. Then we have Trump making threats towards Colorado if they don't release a criminal. That's right, he convicted criminal. I'm going to get the details on that. We have Trump voter having the day that he voted for, and, well, he's not happy about it. Oh, wow, shocker. Yes, this has to do with the tariffs and a strongly worded letter. Then, finally, we have some corruption here, or attempted corruption. We have an Eric Adams fundraiser, former campaign staffer, who had apparently tried to bribe a reporter in a very hilarious and dumb way. So that story is amazing. It's going to be fun talking about that. All right. Look, I need your help. Like and share, okay? I don't know what it is about the algorithm, but basically my views have cratered off the cliff. Again, I don't know what it is, but the algorithm does not like me. And so they do not like when people go up against the dictator. And so I need your help, okay? So I need you to like and share the stream. I need you to engage, you know, and if you can, support the show. Because we are in very big danger of not being able to do it anymore. And I'm serious about that. Patreon.com/JeffWaldorf. Again, if we do not hit enough views, obviously, can't afford to continue to do the show. And trust me, I've got very, very low overheads here. Okay. As low as it can go. But still got to pay for internet, still got to pay for editing software, which is not cheap. Still got to pay for ink, paper, etc., as well as all the other bills. And so, yeah, if things keep going in this direction, I will not be able to do that doing the show. So If I can't do that doing the show, then that means no show. So, I would like to continue to be able to do this. So if you can support the show by becoming a member on our YouTube page or becoming a patron or both, I guess if you really want to, I'll take it where I can get it. Sign up, patreon.com/jeffwaldorf, or hit the join button below if you're on YouTube, or, become a subscriber on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. Because I think that people like myself are needed these days. And unfortunately, if you have no money, you have no show. No money, no show, because they can't afford to eat. So sign up, support the show, support the channel, and, that's really all I'm asking for. Okay, so with that said, let's dive into the first story here. Let's talk about Representative Jeff Van Drew. Yeah. Okay. Republican Representative Jeff Van Drew claims to see dead people. They're here. They know they're dead and are voting illegally. That's right. He made the bonkers claim during an interview he had on Fox Business.
Apartment buildings, there were multiple mail-in ballots sent to the same person. Sometimes people would have multiple ballots sent to different addresses. Other times, people who were passed away. These are real people I spoke to, large numbers of them, and it's indicative of what happened around the country. Florida may...
Whoa, wait, hold on. So you spoke to dead people. You spoke to them. How? Did you do a freaking seance or something? What? Did you bust out the Ouija board? Or are you a medium? Or what? How? What is going on here? Okay, everyone. Is there anyone here who would like to speak or cast a ballot? I mean, come on. This is ridiculous, even for the right wing. All right, who apparently are convinced that dead people voted in the 2020 election. Notice, by the way, that they only make an accusation for 2020. I don't really see a whole lot of talk about fraud in 2024. I wonder why that is. Look, here's the thing. Researchers at Stanford published a study in 2020 evaluating the elections in, for example, the state of Washington, which has universal mail-in ballots. So you think that would be ground zero for all the alleged fraud, right? Turns out they found 0.0003% of the votes cast between the years 2011 and 2018 that were potentially suspicious. Potentially. That does not even mean that they are fraudulent. It's just, they were a little suspicious. They're worth a second look. Yeah. But even that apparently is enough to get MAGA out there claiming massive fraud without even a shred of evidence. Because, look,
Just forget about the evidence.
that's the right wing right there. Forget about the evidence. We just trust us, bro. Look, we know it's because they just want to rig the elections. That's it. And for them, the easiest way to rig it is to ensure that they stop as many people on the other side from voting as they can. Okay? They believe that if they take as many eligible voters out of the voting pool, while making it as difficult and annoying as possible to cast a ballot, while of course limiting the time that you're allowed to vote, leaving it to only one day, okay, election day voting only, they believe that if they do all those things that they will win, and they're probably right. That's exactly what they would do. The reality is that the less people that turn out to vote, the more often Republicans win. Period. And they know that. They've known that for a very, very long time. The godfather of the modern conservative movement, Paul Weyrich, even admitted that. They're like, hey, look, we don't want people to vote. All right, the less people show up, the more often Republicans win, right? Yeah, that's it. That's openly admitting the entire thing. Because that's what they do, all right?
Oh my God, he admitted.
Yes, they admit it. They're out in the open talking about it. And now people are like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound very democratic. I mean, you know, it doesn't sound like a good system, you know, denying people the right to vote. Seems kind of un-American, guys. And so they have to come up with the whole voter fraud stuff, right? The whole voter fraud narrative, dead people, blah, blah, blah. Again, I got news for you. That didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And look, here's the thing, right? For Van Drew, you know, the other side voting, and I don't mean the other side as in dead people, but you know, the other side isn't Democrats. The more they turn out, the more likely it is for them to win. That does not constitute fraud. That's called democracy. Look into it. Just saying. But look, he says nonetheless of mail-in voting, in general, it is ripe for abuse. Is it? Is it really? No, it really isn't. Okay, it really, really isn't. Look, this guy, this a-hole, okay, decided that it would be better to switch from being a Democrat, because he used to be, and he was actually elected as a Democrat back in 2019. But he's like, I'm going to switch to being a Republican. And as such, since then has adopted the most insane Republican conspiracy theories and talking points. Look, in New Jersey, where he was elected, they cast, the people there, about 760,000 mail-in ballots during the 2024 election alone, in the general. That's out of the 4.3 million ballots that were cast total. Van Drew won his re-election race that year with about 8.1% of the vote. How many of those votes were mail-in ballots? I don't know. Can't really say. I mean, look, Republicans, they use generally mail-in voting almost as much as Democrats do. I mean, you look at the split, it's pretty darn close. All right. But, you know, apparently they must all be fraudulent now, according to Jeff Van Drew and his spirits. And by spirits, I do not mean ghosts, okay? Because let's be honest, you gotta be drinking pretty heavily to say this kind of crap with a straight face. Okay. Just nuts. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Comparing him to the Crypt Keeper. Oops. I thought maybe that was a little too mean, but I mean, what are you gonna do now? All right. Let's move on to Cracker Barrel. Oh boy. It has happened. The right wing is now raging against Cracker Barrel. That's right. Frickin' Cracker Barrel. As if there wasn't more important things to be angry about. Like, for example, the genocide in Gaza that's currently happening, you know, but or the Epstein files or whatever. No, Cracker Barrel, because they had the audacity to change their logo. And now, as a result, conservatives are absolutely losing their minds. Although I feel like that's kind of on brand, though, since conservatives have been losing their minds for a long time. But generally, look, conservatism is about keeping everything the same. It's about zero change, right? So I guess Cracker Barrel, since they changed their logo, instant freak out. But here's the thing, though. It's kind of funny because they actually kind of went backwards to their more of their original type of logo, their branding. See, when they first opened their doors in '69, their logos. Let me show you a comparison here. Throughout the ages of Cracker Barrel, here you go. 1969 to 77. Okay, we've got. Oh, look at that! It's just no dude with suspenders sitting by a barrel. Okay, that was it. 77. They changed it. Oh, they actually changed it in 2006. I don't remember a conservative outrage then. And again in 2015, and then no conservative outrage. And then, of course, 2015 to that's outdated because they just changed it again. Oh boy. And look, again, 77. They had the dude, and now they got rid of the dude, and somehow now that is the an example of wokeness run amok. All right, changing that logo. It somehow it's woke. Somehow, I can't explain how, but it just is. Just trust us, bro. All right, here's Benny Johnson raging. Cracker Barrel completely changed your iconic logo for the first time in 47 years. I just noticed that, that's not true. They actually have changed it, although to be fair, there were small changes. But it's absolutely horrible. When will they learn? When will they learn, everybody? When will they learn? And then, of course, Don Jr., here he comes, quoting the woke war room account. That's the thing, which has been attacking the company's CEO, Julie Fels-Massino. Don Jr. says, "What is wrong with Cracker Barrel? She scrapped a beloved American aesthetic and replaced it with sterile, soulless branding." Bro, if you were upset about that, look at what they did to McDonald's. Just not to the logo, obviously, but to the entire building. It went from fun to yes, sterile. Okay, but here's the thing about that. Okay, it doesn't have to do with any of that. Okay, I can guarantee you. No, what they're mad about is wokeness. Yes. In fact, that war room account added, Massino kept a DEI regime that promises to identify, recruit, and advance hires by race, and now faces civil rights complaints from America First Legal to the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission and the Tennessee Attorney General. Okay. Here is the irony about that. Okay. Cracker Barrel has been the subject before of discrimination lawsuits. Of course, not the kind that they're talking about now. Okay. No, back in 2004, the Department of Justice had found evidence. Remember, this is the Bush Department of Justice of racial discrimination at Cracker Barrel. Okay. Which included the directing and participation of racist treatment towards its customers and employees. They actually ended up having to settle a class action lawsuit for about $8.7 million. That suit involved over 40 plaintiffs across 16 different states. Some of these allegations, by the way, involve black customers literally being put in segregated areas. They've segregated white and black patrons, okay, forcing the black the black patrons into smoking sections, okay. Not only that, but also denying them service, giving the servers the ability to deny black people service. That's right. They have blocked people's promotions, giving them black employees worse jobs, okay, back of the house duties and job assignments, okay. They ignored and perpetuated racial slurs and comments, and had failed to enforce policies prohibiting racial discrimination. Yeah. Cracker Barrel was also sued for discriminating against people with disabilities. Oh, and also wage theft. They were sued for wage theft. And so, yeah, they've gotten themselves into a little bit of trouble over the years due to their practices. And so I'm guessing what they were trying to do was, do a little course correction, right? Not being so openly racist. And now Republicans are like, you are being racist against white people now. I mean, are you kidding me? Really?
Really?
It's come on, man. The newest lawsuit is again saying white people are being discriminated against because of DEI hiring practices. Just ridiculous. Absolutely freaking ridiculous, man. All right, so look, right-wing pundit Owen Schroyer said of the logo change, this is your logo. It's literally a cracker and a barrel. Yes, own the hilarious irony of using a racial slur against your main demographic. It will attract that younger crowd you're reaching for or serve better food. Look, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I do not consider that word to be a slur against me. I don't know. Again, it's hilarious that there are people out there who feel offended by that. If they're called that word, I don't know. But like, it is funny that the F your feelings people seem to be getting a lot of feelings about this entire situation. It's weird. It's very weird. Okay, but look, I don't really care. I've never eaten a Cracker Barrel, probably never will. And I don't care what their logo is. I don't care if they change it. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter at all. None of this actually matters. Okay? But here's the thing. It monetizes really, really well on the right wing. That's the reality, okay? And look, that outrage is very, very monetizable in today's media climate. That's why I'm talking about it. I mean, yeah, it's hilarious because these snowflakes are melting down. But it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're comparing this whole thing to Bud Light. And again, they melted down over Bud Light for having one advertisement, okay, with Dylan Mulvaney, a trans woman, an influencer. And a can sent to her with her face on it. And that's it. They melted down. They did boycotts. You know, Kid Rock was out there shooting six packs with his gun. I mean, the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. Just everything is ridiculous. It's, you know, when it comes to the right wing, they're not talking about reality. They're just not. I mean, look, one person called this the Bud Light of formerly great restaurants. I don't know. I've never been there. Never ate there. But I haven't heard very many good reviews from actual human beings. Turbo Truther, by the way, called it the Bud Light of barrels. That doesn't make sense. I mean, can we say we've hit the bottom of the barrel yet? Can we? Because every time it feels like we have hit that bottom, they seem to find a way to go lower. I mean, when it comes to the important things in our lives, is this really one of those things? I mean, this, to me, it doesn't really seem like it's anywhere near the top. I mean, if you want to talk about something, I mean, how about vegetables that have gone up in price over 30%? Because of Trump's ICE deportations. That seems like it's an important thing, right? But I guess not to the Cracker Barrel crowd. They probably haven't ever touched a vegetable. Okay. How about tourism in this country collapsing by $12.5 billion? How about that? It seems like it's worthy of discussion, but no, Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel. I mean, how about releasing the freaking Epstein files. Shouldn't that be important too? No. No, apparently not. Apparently not. Notice how they have completely ignored all of these things. And I'm pretty sure we all know the reason why. Okay. You have to at least have veggies on your bacon cheeseburger. Let's see. It's not newsworthy. I know, but yet for some reason, we got to talk about it. Because you know what? None of my videos that actually talk about real important issues ever get any views. So, I mean, that's why I'm talking about it. And I'm pretty honest about that. I talk about it because I have to, because, you know, if I talk about important things, no one fucking watches. Nobody watches. No one tunes in. No one gives a shit about real things. So I have to talk about bullshit. Bullshit. Welcome to the media. 2025, where bullshit don't matter, but you got to talk about it anyway, or else you do not survive. Why did they change the logo? I don't know. You know, they said it was just like, oh, it's to reflect the roots of Cracker Barrel. That's pretty much it. I mean, they put out some boring, you know, corporate BS statement about why they changed it, which doesn't really matter. And there you go. All right. Let's go to Trump's threats. What is the real outrage? I have no idea. They just want to be mad because they want to be mad. They have to be angry at something. That's their whole identity. Their statement is vague and garbage and doesn't matter at all. And so, I mean, what the hell are you going to do? All right. President Donald Trump is now threatening the state of Colorado with harsh measures. That's all he said, harsh measures. If they do not immediately release a prisoner, a criminal, which is former Colorado election clerk Tina Peters, who is currently serving about 9 years in prison for tampering with the state's voting machines after the 2020 presidential election. So Trump went to Truth Social and wrote, "Free Tina Peters, a brave and innocent patriot who has been tortured by crooked Colorado politicians, including the big mail-in ballots supporting the governor of the state." That didn't even make sense. Let Tina Peters out of jail right now. And here we go. Trump is, once again, calling for the release of criminals out of jail. He's already released criminals. He released all of the January 6th Capitol rioters, so this is not anything new. But, him threatening the state of Colorado, it's kind of new, I suppose. Hey, here we go. Totally on brand because he himself is a criminal. Now, Trump claimed that Peters did nothing wrong and actually accused the Democrats of doing things that were wrong, cheating in the election, with, of course, no evidence to back that up because, let's be honest.
Just forget about the evidence.
Just forget about the evidence, of course, yes. And he added, "She is an old woman and is very sick. If she is not released, I am going to take harsh measures." What? Like what? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Huh? What What the hell are you going to do? All right, what are you going to send in the military and with your fake ass emergencies? Is that what you're going to do? Come on, I'm waiting. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, you're going to cut off the funding for the state now for not releasing a convicted criminal? Because that's what she is. She is a criminal. Look, numerous state audits already confirmed the accuracy of Colorado's 2020 election. Okay, they found absolutely no evidence of fraud. The machine vote counts completely matched the marking on all the paper ballots. There was no fraud there, but there was the tampering of the machines. Not during the election, but afterwards by Tina Peters, who went rooting around in them looking for fraud. Look, in 2021, Peters facilitated unauthorized access to her county's voting systems, which led to some sensitive election data being leaked online on the internet. She had also allowed a county security card to be misused, granting access to the Mesa County election system to an individual connected to the MyPillow CEO, Mike Lindell. Okay? At the end of the day, Peters was found guilty, okay, and convicted by a jury of her peers of 7 out of the 10 charges at her trial. 3 counts of attempting to influence a public official, conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation and official misconduct, violation of duty, and failure to comply with an order by the Secretary of State. The jury did end up acquitting her on the 3 other charges: conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation, and identity theft. Nonetheless, that was enough. 7 out of the 10 charges, and she got sentenced to 9 years in prison. So this was a jury trial. And Donald Trump, though, is saying, I don't care about what a jury of her peers found. Release her or else. Release her or else. I mean, here we are. Here we are. Okay. Oh yeah, no, a jury. I don't like that decision. So I'm just gonna completely ignore law. Okay. I don't care about law and order. No, we don't care. Law and order is just something we see on TV. It's a TV show. It's not real, according to Trump. Look, again, look, you know what's funny is that, yes, she did all of this. She gave all that information to Mike Pillow and put it out online. And you know what? You know what the funny part is? They still couldn't prove any fraud. Still couldn't do it. Still couldn't do it. You know why? You know why? We all know why. You can't prove something that didn't happen. Because it didn't happen. There wasn't fraud. Trump, he is out there literally trying to rewrite the history of the 2020 election because he just couldn't handle the fact that he lost. Okay, even after winning in 2024, he still has to go back and say, 2020, I didn't lose it. I didn't lose it. I won it. I actually won it. No, you didn't. And now, in order to do that, he's trying to release the first person that was actually jailed for their efforts to help overturn that election. Okay? Look, in a previous statement, by the way, because he has been calling for Tina Peters' release for some time now. So you ended up having the Colorado Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, coming out and saying Tina Peters is a criminal who compromised her own voting equipment to try to prove Trump's big lie. Trump is weaponizing the Department of Justice. We cannot allow him to rewrite history or use his lies to create 2 tiers of justice for the American people. But that's what he's doing, okay? He is absolutely weaponizing the justice system, creating an injustice system, and letting all of his criminal friends to go free. That's what he wants to do, okay? And it is very interesting that this man, who is the supposed law and order guy, I'm for law and order, he's releasing the criminals, protecting the pedos, and weaponizing that justice system against his political opponents. It's almost like he's doing all the things that we said he was going to do if he got back into power, okay? And yet, it's weird because people like me were getting accused. We were accused the whole time of, oh, you got TDS, you got Trump derangement syndrome. What, you think I want to talk about this asshole every day? You think I want to go out there and do that? I want to talk about people getting health care. You know, I want to talk about getting people child care. You know, I want to talk about affordable housing. You know, I want to talk about policy that actually helps working class people. But instead, I'm talking about this shit, pointing out the absurdity of our president literally threatening entire states with so-called harsh actions if they do not release their convicted criminals. That's what I'm doing here today. All right, that's what we're doing. And this is where we're at in the year 2025. And you know what? This year is stupid. This is stupid. Everything's stupid. And this country fucking sucks. Boy, I have just had it today. Just had it. All right, there's more. That's right. Pregnant women dying in hospital parking lots waiting for emergency health services. Can't talk about that, though. Nope, can't talk about that. Except that I probably will talk about that. Because that's absolutely just fucking horrifying. All of it. All of it. Everything. Everything that's going on is just horrible. Okay. Political fatigue, and we have to try to live through about three more years of this. If we're lucky. If we're lucky. Because who knows if he's going to leave after the 3 years. Okay? Okay. All right. Let's talk about the leopards. A Trump voter is begging the president to stop it with his tariffs as his daughter's business is being crushed by these import taxes. Holly Eve recently spoke to the Economic Times saying that, hey, look, I might have to close down my California-based deodorant business. Which, that sucks because I know a lot of people probably could use some deodorant, some good deodorant. Now, why does she have to shut down? Well, Trump's tariffs. His import taxes have raised the price on necessary components. Okay, according to Eve, the manufacturers informed her that the cost of her stuff would increase by about 60 to 200% due to the import taxes. Making things more difficult, of course, for her is the fact that she had taken out a small business loan in order to get through the worst of the pandemic, which is still ongoing, by the way. We actually have never left the pandemic. People are still getting sick. People are still dying. And, you know, there are new variants every few months, every season, and it's just, again, getting worse. But anyway, she took out that loan, and now she's afraid that because of these import taxes, she's not going to be able to pay back her loan. Okay, so she says this seems like a problem too large to solve. It has completely wrecked my mental health. Hey, you know, join the club. Okay, I do not know a lot of people who are doing well right now mentally. Okay, again, you've got the import taxes that are hurting people. You've got food that has gotten more expensive. Vegetables are like at least 36% higher than they were before because of Trump's immigration raids. You got spiking energy prices. Health insurance is about to go way up because of the subsidies and that are going away, the tax credits that are going away because of Trump's big, beautiful bullshit bill. And so things are bad. Things are getting bad out here, and it's getting real. It's really getting worse. Okay, it's getting worse. Well, and it's again going to continue to get worse. Things are not going to get better. Okay, I feel like we're going to need to bottom out, and that is not going to be pretty. It is going to be terrible. Now, that said, Eve's father, Stephen R. Landfield. Stephen R. Landfield is a Trump voter. Voted for Trump. Yeah, make America great again. All right. Now, he voted for Trump, but it's like, oh my God, please reverse the tariffs. Please. This is not going well for us. This is not doing what I thought it was going to do. And it's actually hurting my family. Okay. Well, he says, small businesses are the backbone of our country, yet these tariffs unfairly target them. Many will have no choice but to close their doors, Landfield wrote in a letter to Trump. I urge you to reconsider this policy so that American entrepreneurs and small business owners like my daughter can continue contributing to our economy without being crushed by costs beyond their control. So now there's some irony here, okay? Because look, I was told by many a MAGA, all right, and Trump himself, that it was the other countries. It was, China that's gonna pay the tariffs. It's China, and we're raking in so many billions of dollars, from these tariffs from the other countries. No, that's from us. Okay, we pay the tariffs. First, the business pays that imports the stuff, but oftentimes, the majority of the time, these companies will pass on the costs to us, to the consumer. And so that's how tariffs work. That's how tariffs have always worked. And I still do not seem to understand how this simple concept got so wildly misunderstood. Okay, actually, I do know why. People just believe the things that came out of Donald Trump's mouth. Donald Trump, who is a known and documented liar. Okay, they believed him. And now, as a result of believing a liar, leopards have come for their faces. What did you expect? And look, the Economic Times found that other businesses were also in survival mode, okay, or had already closed because of Trump's import taxes. Richard May had stated that his business, MFG Direct to USA, had been, designing garage doors and medical treatment beds since the 1990s. But his business may close within the next 60 days because the model tends to rely on manufacturers in Asia. May now must pay an additional 83% tax to the federal government to get the products from China. We're hanging on by a thread, he said. We've been doing everything possible. We're working harder just to stay in business. Look, it has gotten so bad, by the way, that even Arizona iced tea, right, may end up raising their prices. It was 99 cents for the longest time. 99 cents. And now, because of Donald Trump's import taxes, his tax on working class people, middle class people, that is going to go up. The cost of Arizona, he has ruined the cost of Arizona iced tea. Okay? That's what he's done. All right? It's all Trump. Okay? And look, I hate to say it. And you can get mad at me for this. Go ahead. But if you voted for Trump, you deserve what you get. You deserve it. You will have the day that you voted for. That's it. No, I don't like it. I don't like saying it. I don't want people to suffer. I have empathy. I have so much empathy for people, right? I have too much. I care too much about people. But look, we did warn you. We did warn you, though, that people will suffer as a result of your vote, of what you did, what you voted for. And now, of course, and now you are. We all are. We're all suffering here. Okay? We are all in this boat together. And that's what people freaking have to understand. All right? We, as citizens of this country, we are all in the same boat. And yet, some of the passengers, okay, about a third, decided it would be a great idea for poking holes in the floor of this boat because a black woman dared to want to be the captain for a while. And they were like, no, it can't go. No, black woman can't be captain. No, we will not let that happen. Why? Why don't you want that to happen? Oh, right.
The Republican Party's racist.
That's why. Uh-huh. And look, I had my own issues with Kamala Harris, okay? But I still voted for her, and I don't regret that because I saw what was going on with Donald Trump. And again, if you want to come at me with like, oh, but then you voted for genocide. If you voted for Trump, you also voted for genocide. There was no non-genocide vote. Get it through your dumb heads, okay? There was no non-genocide vote. If you voted in this election, you had the choice of genocide or genocide. So there you go. That's the reality of the situation, and it fucking sucks. It sucks bad. That's why you vote in primaries for non-genocide candidates. And if you don't have a non-genocide candidate, then run yourself. Okay? Then you run. And you know what? If you do, I will support you. If you're a non-genocide progressive candidate. But if you don't, then, well, don't be mad. Or if you don't get out there and vote for, in primaries for non-genocide candidates, then don't get mad when you get stuck with two pro-genocide candidates. Because that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. Okay? But anyway, here we are. We're in the boat, and we're sinking. Okay? Look, this man voted against his own daughter. Okay? And her business. And so, yeah, there you go. And you know what? So many white women, by the way, voted against themselves. I don't know how she voted. I mean, look, California, probably for Harris, business owner, maybe for Trump. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that there were about 53% of white women who voted for Donald Trump. 60% of white men voted for Donald Trump. So, I mean, that's a majority. Now, you look at the black community, 7% of black women voted for Trump. Seems like they were onto something, okay? Yeah, it seems like black women, a lot smarter than everybody else, all right? I'm just saying. Look, Trump promised to do tariffs. Trump promised to do mass deportation, all right? And to weaponize the government against his enemies. And that's exactly what he's doing. That's what he's doing. Okay? None of this should be a surprise to you. None of this should be a surprise to anyone who has paid attention. And I'm sorry, dude, but not only did you vote for this, right? And support this, you caused all this to happen. But, and here's the other irony, right? Trump no longer needs to listen to you, so he's not going to. Okay, he's already got your vote. You already gave it to him. And so he's going to take your letter, right? If it even gets to his desk, and he's going to shove it right in the next closest circular file and go on with his day. That's it. That's it. You know why? Because you and your daughter mean absolutely nothing to this man. Absolutely nothing. Black lady wouldn't drag you off the street without due process. Exactly. Exactly. You'll never have to vote again. That's another thing he said. Yeah. There you go. But now he's a war hero. Ah, yes, the war hero. Yes, the man with bone spurs in his feet that stopped him from going to Vietnam. He's a war hero now. Just I mean, stop the world. I want off. Okay, I want off. All right, get me out of aliens. If there's that alien ship, okay, that is supposedly coming towards Earth, I want to hitch a ride on that thing. All right, because I'm about done here. About done here with all this shit. Oh yeah, that's tanks. I was wondering what that was. The squeaky ass tanks. God damn.
It is an alien force, not of this world.
Take me with you, please. For God's sakes. Take me with you.
I want to go to space.
I want to go to space. Anywhere but here. Anywhere but here. Okay. No, let's talk about corruption, okay? Very, very important story. Eric Adams. Oh boy. An advisor to incumbent Mayor Eric Adams was suspended from his re-election campaign after attempting to bribe a journalist. How? By putting a wad of cash into a bag of potato chips. That's right. According to a report in the New York Times, that advisor, Winnie Greco, who was the mayor's former director of Asian Affairs at City Hall, and you're going to love why she was the former director, okay, and one of his best fundraisers, had returned to his campaign trail as a volunteer. Okay, this is for Eric Adams' second run. And by the way, he's running as an independent. Now, why did you bring her back, Eric Adams? And maybe I'm kind of burying the lead here. Okay, but look, she got herself into some trouble. Okay, she ended up getting raided by the FBI last year as part of a federal investigation into possible Chinese government interference in the 2021 mayoral race. Okay, so she gets in trouble for that. She gets raided, under investigation, whatever. So why did he bring her back to the campaign then? Because she had resigned after that. Well, she was a fundraiser. Let's be honest, that's pretty much the only reason. Okay, she was a fundraiser, and so he's like, "Come on back, because we need you. We need your money." Now, on Wednesday, Ms. Greco had attended an event with Mr. Adams in Harlem, and had given more than $100 in a red envelope stashed inside of a potato chip bag to a reporter for The City. And this is the publication named The City. Okay. It's according to an article in The City. Okay. Now, they promptly reported the incident to the city's Department of Investigation, and federal prosecutors in Brooklyn contacted the newspaper's lawyers, according to the newspaper's account. Now, Mr. Adams' campaign spokesperson, Todd Shapiro, said, quote, "We are shocked by these reports. Shocked and chagrined. I can't believe there would be, corruption in this, the gambling in this establishment." Or corruption in New York. But anyway, Winnie Greco holds no position in this campaign, has been suspended from all volunteer campaign-related activities. Yep. He said Mr. Adams has always demanded the highest ethical and legal standards. Are you fucking kidding me? The highest ethical and legal standards in the Adams government and campaign. Are you kidding me? This man is corrupt as hell. Remember, Eric Adams had been under investigation, federal investigation for bribery, fraud, and taking illegal campaign contributions from Turkish nationals. I mean, the only reason that this did not end up going to a trial is because Trump and Eric Adams made a little bit of a deal, okay, behind the scenes, so that the Trump Department of Justice would dismiss the case. And that's what happened. Okay. Well, Eric Adams went to freaking Mar-a-Lago, and I don't know what he did or who he sucked off. I don't know. I don't really know. All I know is that, oh, would you look at that? The Department of Justice has dropped the corruption case against Eric Adams. And you know what's funny is that, again, speaking of the corruption here, there was another aide, Ingrid Lewis-Martin, the former chief advisor to the mayor, has also been accused by a grand jury of helping her friends secure lucrative city contracts and expedite their regulatory issues with city government in exchange for cash payments to her son, lavish karaoke parties, which sound terrible and not fun, free home renovations, and nearly $10,000 worth of seafood for city events. I mean, really? Oh, and even a guest appearance on the TV show Godfather of Harlem. Wow. Just wow. Like, seriously. Okay, look, okay. Eric Adams is corrupt and surrounds himself with corrupt officials. Period. Okay? It's clear. Plain as day. All right? But getting back to Greco, you're going to love her excuse for this, okay? Her lawyer, Stephen Brill, said of this bribe, okay, it's not a bribe. No, it's common. It's very common in Chinese culture, because, you know, she's Chinese, right? To give money to reporters. It shows a gesture of friendship and gratitude to try to bribe reporters. I grant you that this looks odd, but I assure you that Winnie's intent is purely innocent.
Really?
Purely innocent. Everybody, purely innocent. Now, look, here's the thing. I think it should be pretty clear that we're not in China. Okay, she's not in China, but I'm pretty sure that this is not a part of Chinese culture, trying to bribe people. Okay, you know that tipping in China is actually not customary, and in some cases, or many cases, is actually considered kind of rude. Yeah, turns out tipping culture doesn't really exist there. Okay, so this is not really a tip. Okay, now there are a couple of circumstances where, you know, okay, tipping is not entirely frowned upon. For example, if you're in China and you tip your tour guide, all right, that's acceptable. Or even your driver, acceptable. Or if you're at one of those high-end restaurants in China that, that might not have automatically factored in a gratuity into your bill, because generally those high-end restaurants in China tend to do that. Then, okay, if they don't factor that in, then it's okay to tip them. All right. So knowing that kind of seems like a bullshit excuse for corruption. Okay. Now, the reporter who was given this attempted bribe, Katie Honan, spoke to the New York Times and said that Ms. Greco had texted her at the Harlem rally and asked to meet with her across the street next to a TD Bank. Ms. Honan, who said she thought she was going to get some information from Ms. Greco about the expected indictments, so, getting a scoop, right, said that they had walked together into a Whole Foods. There, Ms. Greco soon handed Honan the bag of chips, which the reporter said, "Oh, no, I'm not hungry. I'm good. She unsuccessfully tried to return the bag of chips. She didn't even know what was in it at the time. She's just like, "I'm not hungry. It's cool. It's cool." Now, after the two parted, Ms. Honan opened the bag at her subway stop and discovered that there was a red envelope inside stuffed with cash. I initially hoped that it was a note, an actual tip, like, there's this thing inside. It's a scoop. It's a story, a tip, if you will. But no, she found out that it was an actual tip, but not an actual tip, an actual bribe. She opened it up and was like, "Oh my God, it's money. What? What are you doing?" So she called Ms. Greco to be like, "Why is there money in my bag of chips that you gave me? You got to take it back." Okay. And again, it was about $100, I should say $100 bill and several $20 bills that were inside the envelope. So when she got a hold of Ms. Greco to be like, "What is their money doing in this bag?" She said that, don't worry about that. No, I don't need it back. What? No, just keep it. After the incident, Honan returned to the city's office and handed over the envelope to her editors. They then, of course, contacted the Department of Investigation, federal prosecutors, then took the chip bag and the cash. The publication said in its story that it had asked Ms. Greco about her motivations for giving that money to the reporter, and that she replied that it was just cultural, and repeatedly apologized. "Can we just forget about this? Please don't do in news nothing about me." Oops. Oh, seems a little late for that one. Oh no. Look, again, this seems like an obvious bribe. Obvious bribe is obvious. I don't know what for. Perhaps to get this reporter to do more positive coverage of Adams' campaign. It seems like there would be some motivation there. After all, she is a big fundraiser to Adams. Now, along with her, you have Brianna Suggs, the mayor's top fundraiser, whose home ended up also being searched by the FBI. That's right. More corruption, of course. This man, is absolutely mired in corruption. It's almost comical at this point, just how cartoonishly corrupt Mayor Adams really, really is. And look, I cannot wait. Until Zoran Mamdani, who is not backed by the establishment at all. In fact, they refuse to endorse him, blue no matter who, unless you're Mamdani. They won't support him, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, Mamdani is crushing everyone in the polls because he is not openly and comically corrupt like Eric Adams, and he's not a sex pest like Andrew Cuomo. I cannot wait until Mamdani crushes both of them and becomes the next mayor of New York. Did she at least get to keep the chips? No, the chips. Unfortunately, the chips had to go too. I know. Sad. And now, as a result, I'm kind of hungry. So. What? The news is just insane Okay, absolutely crazy. We got bribes in potato chip bags. We got leopards eating faces. We got, threats to let criminals out of prison. The Cracker Barrel, everything is just crazy and stupid. And this is our news these days. This is our news. And so it's a madhouse. It's an absolute madhouse these days. And nobody's having fun here. No one's enjoying this. And so there you go. Is there no crime he and his regime haven't committed yet? I'm afraid to ask that question because I'm afraid to know the answer. Because we're probably going to find out all sorts of insane crimes that we don't know about. Or they have yet to commit. All right, anyway. Look, if you haven't already, please like and share. Need it more than ever because the mental toll and coming in and talking about this stuff every single day should be at least worth a like. Or, perhaps even a donation, a super chat. Would that be so hard, so much to ask for? Just going through, and having to cover every insane thing this regime is forcing upon us. Would it be so much to ask for a crumb of likes, please? I appreciate that. If you do so, like and share. Consider becoming a supporter of the show, becoming a patron, patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Again, we need your help more than ever. Okay. Sign up, become a patron, support the show. And that's it. That's all I'm asking for you to do. And to continue to support independent progressive media and progressive candidates. So we can get maybe eventually out of this hellhole that we are in. Okay. Thank you all. Love you. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, everybody.